So this is the bit that feels quite confusing to me. We've just taken all of this honey off of the bees, so my natural instinct now is to think, we need to replace it, we need to give them loads back. Because I think that just feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it? You're taking the honey away, let's give them a feed, and let's give them loads of it right away from the off. Laurence has actually explained to me that this isn't the case because we're not quite yet at the end of the season. It feels like the end to us as beekeepers because the honey crop is off. I don't know about you, but I'm less worried about my bees swarming, so there's less for us to do. But there's all of the post-harvest things going on. And apparently that difference really matters, which does make sense. The goal is not to get the hive up to its full winter weight today. The goal is to get up to the winter weight by the end of the post-harvest season, which is more like mid to late October. So we've still got a good couple of months where the colony needs to keep functioning properly, keep raising bees, and gradually build up to where they need to be to see themselves through the colder months. That was the bit I hadn't really thought about. I was thinking, honey off means feed them for winter, but if you give them too much too soon, you can actually cause a problem. The reason is the brood nest. At this time of year, the bees still need space for the queen to lay because they're raising the bees that are going to take the colony into winter. So if I come along now and absolutely flood them with syrup, they can start storing it everywhere and suddenly the queen hasn't got the space she needs. She becomes almost syrup bound. So even though it feels like you're helping, we're just getting in the way. Laurence is saying that at this point, the aim is more like keeping them ticking over. We've taken the honey away, we've got the feeder on, the apivar strips are going in, and now we're giving them small amounts of 1-to-1 syrup just to keep feeding them and keep them supported. 1-to-1 syrup is literally 1 kilo of sugar to 1 litre of water, mixed up cold. That's another thing I would have overcomplicated because there are still different strengths that people talk about, and I wasn't sure when you use what, but for this stage we're using 1-to-1 because we're not trying to ram the hive full of winter stores straight away. We're just trying to keep them going. So I'm pouring a bit into the feeder and Laurence has shown me how to drizzle it down into the slots so that the bees find it and come up and start taking it. So the plan after this is actually pretty simple. We're not going to keep doing full brood inspections every single week and pulling the hive apart for no reason. We'll go in weekly, but it's more about checking from the outside and with the weight of the hive. Is there activity at the entrance? Are they taking the feed? Does the hive still feel like it's maintaining weight? That's when you can start thinking about heavier feeding. So later on we can switch to 2-to-1 syrup or invert syrup and start putting more in to get the hive up to proper winter weight. That's the point where backfilling the nest isn't actually a problem because you're getting them ready to be packed down and heavy for winter. So for a standard national hive, you're actually aiming for 40 kilos. So that's what today is really about, of taking the honey off. And yes, I do need to make sure that they don't starve, but I don't want to panic feed them. I need to feed them properly for the stage they are at. A little bit of 1-to-1 syrup now, keep them ticking over for the next few weeks, then heavier syrup or invert later on when it's time to build them up to winter weight. It's one of the things that sounds really simple when someone explains it, but I can see how easy it is to get it wrong if you haven't had that support and that guidance. Too little feed and you do run the risk of them being short, too much, and then no brood space. So there's a middle ground that we need to get here. It's now the timing. That's the bit that I'm trying to learn. So I'm learning this through the 14-day beekeeper and going into the apiary with Laurence as well. It's just removed all of that guessing and it's making the entire post-harvest beekeeping side of things far less confusing, no guessing. Because harvesting the honey, taking those supers off feels like the end of the beekeeping season, but actually it's just the start of the winter preparation for our bees.